Welcome back. Today we have a very special episode. This is actually the first in a new series where we apply our knowledge of psychology and behavioral science to understand your experience investing in cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. Now, I've been interested in understanding human behavior for a long time now, and more recently, I've become very interested in cryptocurrency. So what better way to combine these two interests than by studying your brain on Bitcoin? In particular, today we're going to start by exploring what happens in your brain when you experience FOMO. So let's get into it. Okay? So right off the bat, I want to say that this is not financial advice. My goal here is to educate you about your own behavior. If you are experiencing FOMO or fear of missing out, that is perfectly normal. And if you are experiencing gains or losses in your portfolio, even those are normal, because there are actual physical changes occurring in your brain. We are going to talk about those physical changes and how they are hijacking your decision-making process so that you can be more aware of them and hopefully have more control over them. So let's begin with what is happening in your brain. You know when you log on to a trading app and you see that the price of Bitcoin has spiked, and all of a sudden you can't stop refreshing the page because you want to check again to see if it goes higher. Well, when you do this, your brain is lighting up with activity. There are certain patterns of neural activity in your brain that are associated with feeling anxious or stressed. And when you're watching the price of Bitcoin spike, your brain is anticipating something big might happen if you don't do something. That something could be buying more Bitcoin or selling more Bitcoin, but whatever it is, your brain is telling you to take action. Now, when you finally decide to buy more Bitcoin, there is a cascade of neurotransmitters flooding your brain, but most notably, dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter associated with pleasure, reward, and motivation. It is released from the ventral tegmental area and the substantia nigra of your brain. This flood of dopamine causes changes in your mood, and it also alters your perception of the world around you. For example, you may start to see green arrows everywhere. In fact, researchers have found that some investors who trade cryptocurrencies experience such high levels of euphoria that they become delusional. They truly believe that the green arrows they are seeing represent real signals of profit and future success. So what is happening in your brain is that you are experiencing a heightened state of arousal. Your heart rate increases, your breathing becomes faster and shallower, and your muscles tense up as if you are preparing for fight or flight. In other words, you're experiencing stress. So what's going on here? Why does your brain do this to you? Well, let me explain. Okay, so think about the last time that you bought something impulsively. Maybe it was a new dress, a pair of shoes, or maybe even a car. What was going through your mind at the time? Were you excited? Were you nervous? Were you feeling a sense of urgency? Well, whatever it was, that is exactly what is going on in your brain when you're experiencing FOMO. Impulsive buying is a well-documented phenomenon that has been studied extensively by psychologists. In fact, there are 5 common factors that can trigger impulsive buying behavior, and the first 4 relate to marketing strategies that companies use to target you. These strategies include creating a sense of urgency, like saying this dress will sell out quickly; scarcity, meaning only a few items left in stock; the use of social proof, where you see a lot of people buying the item; and lastly, rewards. Like if you spend over $100, you get free shipping. But the 5th factor is the most interesting because it is the one that relates to what is happening inside of you. Impulsive buying also occurs when you are in a heightened emotional state. Now you can see how all of this ties together. When you log on to a trading app and see that the price of Bitcoin has spiked, you feel a sense of urgency, scarcity, and excitement all at once. You then experience an increase in heart rate, your breathing becomes faster, and your muscles tense up. All of this is a result of your brain trying to alert you to a potential opportunity that may be disappearing quickly. And it does this by releasing dopamine and other neurotransmitters that cause you to feel stressed and anxious. In other words, your brain is tricking you into thinking you need to take action right now. So now you know what is happening in your brain, but how does this affect your behavior? Well, it causes you to make irrational decisions. Irrational decisions that are not based on logic or reason, but rather on emotion and instinct. For example, you may find yourself holding on to a losing investment for too long because you don't want to admit that you made a mistake. Or you may sell off all of your investments in a panic because you are convinced that the market is going to crash. Whatever it is, when you are experiencing FOMO, your brain is taking control, and you are no longer in control of your own actions. You may be thinking to yourself, "Great, so now I know that my brain is taking over and causing me to make irrational decisions. But how can I stop this from happening?" Well, the first step is to become more aware of it. Now that you understand what is going on in your brain when you experience FOMO, you can start to recognize the signs in yourself and take steps to avoid making impulsive decisions. The second step is to find alternative ways to satisfy your need for reward. You can do this by engaging in activities that release dopamine in a healthy way, such as exercise or spending time with loved ones. And the third step is to seek professional help. If you are struggling to control your impulses, a therapist can teach you coping mechanisms to deal with the stress and anxiety that you are feeling. So what is the takeaway here? Well, I hope that this video has given you some insight into what is happening in your brain when you experience FOMO. Remember that when you are stressed or anxious, your brain is more likely to trick you into making impulsive decisions. But by becoming more aware of this, you can start to take steps to avoid letting your brain take control. And just before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought. Don't blame yourself for experiencing FOMO. It is not your fault. This is how your brain is wired, and it is important to remember that everyone experiences FOMO from time to time. It is a normal part of the human experience. So be kind to yourself and take the necessary steps to manage your emotions and make rational decisions. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to support the channel, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.